Whiskers the cat was very hungry. His tummy rumbled and grumbled. It felt like there was a monster inside. Whiskers looked around for some food. There was nothing in his bowl. He looked at his owner. Maybe she would give him some tasty treats, but his owner was busy reading a book. She didn't notice Whiskers' rumbling tummy. "Meow!" cried Whiskers, hoping for a little attention. Whiskers waited patiently, but his owner didn't budge. His tummy rumbled even louder now. He had to do something about it. Whiskers decided to go on an adventure. He would find some delicious food all by himself. He puffed out his chest and marched towards the door. He knew it wouldn't be easy. But Whiskers was a brave and clever cat. He was determined to find something to eat. With a flick of his tail and a determined glint in his eye, Whiskers stepped outside. The adventure had begun. The first stop was the garden. It was full of interesting smells and sounds. Maybe there was something tasty hiding there. Whiskers sniffed at the flowers. They smelled sweet, but not very appetizing. He poked his nose into the bushes, hoping to find a juicy worm. But the worms were too quick for him. They wriggled back into the ground before Whiskers could catch them. He sighed. The garden adventure was not going as planned. Whiskers decided to try his luck elsewhere. He scurried towards the fence, his tummy rumbling louder than ever. Section 4, a surprising encounter. Whiskers squeezed through a hole in the fence and found himself in a whole new world. He had never ventured this far from home before, and everything seemed so different and exciting. There were trees to climb, birds to watch, and the air was filled with new and intriguing scents. Whiskers sniffed the ground, his whiskers twitching with curiosity. Maybe there was even some food to find, he thought, as his stomach growled softly. Suddenly he heard a loud bark that echoed through the garden, startling him. A big brown dog appeared from behind a tree, its eyes wide with curiosity and excitement. It looked at Whiskers with curious eyes. Whiskers froze, his heart pounding in his chest. He didn't know whether to run or hiss. His instincts told him to be cautious, but something about the dog's demeanor made him hesitate. But the dog just wagged its tail and barked playfully, its body language showing no signs of aggression. Whiskers began to relax slightly, his muscles loosening as he realized that maybe this dog wasn't so scary after all. With cautious steps, Whiskers approached the dog, his eyes never leaving the dog's face. The dog sniffed him gently, its nose cold and wet, and then licked his ear softly, a gesture of friendship. Whiskers realized that the dog was just being friendly. They sat together peacefully, the initial tension melting away. Whiskers felt a sense of calm wash over him, knowing he had made a new friend in this unexpected place. Section 5. The Kitchen Caper. This is the tale of Whiskers, a curious and adventurous cat with a knack for getting into mischief. Whiskers spent some time playing with the dog, a friendly golden retriever named Max. They chased each other around the yard, rolling in the grass and having a great time. But his tummy was still grumbling. The playful antics had made him even hungrier, and he knew he needed to find something to eat soon. He needed to find food, and fast. Whiskers' mind raced as he thought about where he could find a meal. He sniffed the air, hoping to catch the scent of something delicious. He said goodbye to his new friend Max and continued his adventure. Max barked a friendly farewell, wagging his tail as Whiskers trotted off. He spotted a house in the distance and decided to investigate. The house looked promising, with its open windows and the faint smell of food wafting through the air. Whiskers peeked through a window, his eyes widened as he scanned the kitchen, hoping to find something to satisfy his hunger. He couldn't believe his eyes. The kitchen was filled with all sorts of delicious treats, but one thing stood out the most. There on the kitchen counter was a plate full of delicious-looking fish. The sight of the fish made his mouth water, and he knew he had to get to it. Whiskers knew what he had to do. He had to be clever and quick if he wanted to get his paws on that fish. He found a small opening in the window and squeezed himself through. It was a tight fit, but Whiskers was determined. He was on a mission. With stealth and precision, he made his way towards the counter, his eyes never leaving the prize. Whiskers was ready for the ultimate kitchen caper. Section 6. A happy ending. The kitchen was a dangerous place for a hungry cat. It was filled with all sorts of potential hazards, from hot stoves to sharp utensils. But for Whiskers, the allure of a delicious meal was too strong to resist. But Whiskers was very careful. He knew that one wrong move could spell disaster. His whiskers twitched as he navigated the treacherous terrain, his ears perked up to catch any sudden sounds. He tiptoed across the floor, his eyes fixed on the prize. Every step was calculated, every movement precise. He was a master of stealth, a true feline ninja. He reached the counter and looked up at the plate of fish. It was a tantalizing sight, the fish glistening under the kitchen lights. His mouth watered at the thought of sinking his teeth into the succulent flesh. It was even more tempting up close. The aroma was intoxicating, filling his senses and making his stomach growl with anticipation. He knew he had to act fast. He took a big leap and landed right next to the plate. Whiskers wasted no time. With a swift motion, he grabbed a piece of fish and began to devour it. He gobbled down the fish, savoring every bite. His tummy rumbled happily. Each mouthful was a burst of flavor, a reward for his daring adventure. It was the best meal he had ever had. He licked his lips, savoring the last remnants of the delicious feast. His hunger was finally satisfied. With a contented sigh, Whiskers curled up on a warm, sunny spot on the floor. The sun's rays warmed his fur and he felt a deep sense of satisfaction. His adventure had been a success. He had braved the dangers of the kitchen and emerged victorious. He was a hero in his own right. He was a very clever and very full cat. As he drifted off to sleep, he dreamed of future adventures and more delicious meals. For now, though, he was content to rest and enjoy his well-earned nap.